apply. Ends 12/31/2025.
Nothing pairs better with Bucks basketball than hoops, friends, and the superior taste of Michelob Ultra. Join me, Josh DiMaggio, and the ESPN Milwaukee Street Team Saturday night at Club Paragon in Greenfield as we watch the Bucks take on Detroit. Tip-off at 6:30. We'll have prizes, ice-cold Michelob Ultra, and your chance to win a pair of Ultra Club Bucks Suite tickets for the December 31st home game. Michelob Ultra, the official beer sponsor of your Milwaukee Bucks. Also enjoy Michelob Ultra at Deer Camp Milwaukee, Bullwinkle's Brookfield, and 3rd Street Market Hall, Milwaukee.
It's the most wonderful time to bar crawl. Get ready for Milwaukee's 12th annual 12 Bars of Christmas on December 13th from noon to 5 p.m. 3 festive locations packed with holiday cheer. Your ticket includes a lanyard for food and drink specials, a holiday mug, and free entry at every stop, all while supporting Toys for Tots. Dust off your ugliest sweater, grab your friends, and join the city's biggest Christmas party. Tickets are limited, so don't wait. Head to 12bocwi.com to grab yours now. 21 plus only. Please drink responsibly.
Tune in to KBN every day at 2 o'clock. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
It's time for Marquette College Game Day, powered by ESPN Milwaukee.
Ball knocked stolen away by Chase Ross. He'll come back the other way in the lane to the basket. He hammers it. The sledgehammer.
Presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook and sponsored by National Liquor Mart, Cousin Subs, Exterior Pros, Matrix Basement Finishing, and Marquette Athletics.
A minute left. Marquette down 2 with the ball. James into Ben Gold. He lays it up and in. Great pass. Great finish. We are tied.
Live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook studio, here's Brian D., Matt Yazel, and Will Summers.
It's one of the days on the sports calendar we look forward to all year long here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The annual matchup of Wisconsin. The Marquette Golden Eagles taking on the Wisconsin Badgers. This year, the matchup moves just a little bit out west in downtown Madison at the Kohl Center. But we, here on this special extended edition of Marquette College Game Day, are live here at the Potawatomi Sportsbook in Milwaukee. Marquette coming in at 5-4, Wisconsin 6-2. The first true road game of the season for Marquette, believe it or not, 9 games in. Later on in this show, we're covering all angles here, not just Marquette. We'll, of course, have our teammate and former Badger sharpshooter Ben Brust on the program to give you the Madison perspective. We'll visit with Gabe Neitzel before he takes over for Network pregame as well. But, fellas, we have to start with what we last saw from Marquette on Tuesday night, somehow squeaking out a victory in overtime over Valparaiso after trailing for much of the second half, 75-72. They squeaked it out. And obviously a win is a win, but you come away with more concerns than good things from that game. So, Brian, I'll start with you. What is your kind of main takeaway from that one, and why was it maybe more than just another rough day at the office for this Marquette team?
Yeah, so full disclosure, I have a 6.5-week-old son at home. So sleep has been at a premium for me lately, and I did not go to the Valpo game. I watched at home. And I don't say this a lot. You're not going to find more publicly or privately supportive people of the Marquette program than me. I turned it off with 8 minutes left. I did not have the guts to watch that happen to the Marquette Golden Eagles. I put my baby down, I read him a story, and I went to bed. And I woke up to feed my baby again at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I rolled over and went, oh my God, they won. So that was a nice surprise.
There you go.
I think the biggest issue, and you're right, a win's a win's a win's a win, and 10 years from now, we're going to look at the box score and go, oh, they beat Valpo in overtime. Cool, right. Whatever. You're not going to think about it. The big issue is when your credo as a program is lost in the fight, right, or one of the many credos that Shaka Smart has for the Marquette Golden Eagles, and you look so fightless for such extended periods of time, that's problematic, especially 2-3 weeks into the season, right? And 23 points at halftime is an unacceptable number, and I think that has been, Will, kind of the big issue for Marquette through all of their wins and losses so far at 5-4. They have these long lulls, offensively and defensively, within games where they just kind of go to sleep. And they lose that fight and that tenacity that Shaka Smart has built this program on for 4+ years at this point. That's the concerning part, is is this group yet able to buy into the mentality and the energy with which you need to play under Shaka Smart?
Yeah, for a team that preaches like their main mantra is doing the little things right, it's incredible that has been their downfall so far this season. Like, it's not that this team has a lack of talent. It's poor defense, missed shots, and just wasted opportunities on both sides of the floor. And I think that it's no longer a coincidence. We've seen this like 5 times this year, and the fact that it happened in a bye game and wasn't just like I wouldn't even call it a lull anymore. It's kind of just who they are at this point, which I'm not happy with, and I hope that they can fix it starting today.
When I went to bed, when I turned the game off, I started racking my brain while I was feeding my baby about, like, when was the last time we had lost this bad? Because I was resigned to the fact that they were going to lose the game. They were down 6 or 8 with 3 minutes left, right? And then they were able to free throw, shoot their way back into the game, get it to overtime, and steal it. We'll get to the final possessions later in the show, by the way, which are another continued issue for this Marquette program. But I was racking my brain going, when was the last time Marquette as a program under Shaka, under Wojo, under Buzz, under Tom Crean had a loss this bad? And the only thing I could come up with, and maybe this was a fever dream, I think they lost to Omaha the year after Buzz left, like the first year of Wojo when they were, 8 deep, and it was Henry Ellenson's year. I think they might have lost to Omaha, but again, like, everybody went into that season going, okay, this is going to be a reset year for the Marquette Golden Eagles program. Since then, I can't think of a bye game that they've lost. They've been super competitive, and I still think there's things to be optimistic about for this Marquette team. Chase Ross continues to look awesome. Nigel James Jr. continues to look awesome. Those things are great, but they're also frustrating because, in my opinion, it does feel like Marquette is a first-team All-Big East player by the end of the year and a first-team All-Big East freshman player, and yet they still continue to struggle a couple of weeks into the season against inferior opponents.
And both of them looked pretty good against Valparaiso. Nigel James Jr. is just putting up a ton of shots now. He's clearly established himself as the lead guard on this team along with Chase. And by the way, the free throws, great point. That's something we've complained about in the past about Marquette. That's one of the few things you can't complain about. It's the only thing keeping this team in games. They made 27 of 32 free throws against Valparaiso. But after that game, and to your point, we talked about the non-conference home win streak. It dated back to 2022 before this year. That's blown out of the water. Talking about the success this program has had up until now. What is the state of Marquette basketball entering today? Because obviously this is going to be a tough week stretch. You're playing at Wisconsin. We'll get into the matchup again throughout the show. Then you're going to Purdue next week. Good luck with that. And then you're going to try to figure it out in the Big East season. And we'll have time to talk about the Big East. But overall, Will, what would you say is the state of Marquette basketball, looking from a program-wide perspective coming into today?
It's sink or swim coming into today for me. I mean, it's not that I'm expecting them to go out and just handle the Badgers, put up a close game against Purdue like they did. I mean, they beat Purdue last year when they were the number 1 team in the country.
That was fun.
I'm not expecting that. I just want to see some fight, some heart, some of all of these things that Shaka Smart preaches about, the EGBs. I want to see that actually translate into a game. And I want to see them fight to make something out of this season. I still think that they are contenders in the Big East. I still think they have the talent to do that. It's all just coming down to execution, and I think it does start today. I've convinced myself that Marquette's going to come out firing today. This rivalry is always a close game, especially in the past, 15 years it's been when both teams have been good. So I think it's really going to start with today. Are they going to come out and play against their bitter rival?
So I think I'm not willing to go sink or swim yet. I think you asked about state of the program. It's a transitional year. And that doesn't mean that we can be satisfied or accepting of losses to programs like Valpo, and we can still be frustrated with letting one against Maryland at home get away or letting Oklahoma get away with a big second. You can be frustrated about all of that stuff while still understanding that it is a transitional year for the program where you lost. And I'll say it again. I said it last time we were together, guys, at Fiserv a couple of weeks ago. One of the strongest senior classes in the history of the program. And people scoff at that. It's the truth. The postseason success didn't necessarily come along, but losing the guys they lost was a big, big hit. So it is a transitional year. I think you can be nuanced about this and say, yes, the first 9 games have been frustrating, but also there's this segment of the fan base right now and the people that follow Marquette basketball that are already jumping on the fire Shaka Smart bandwagon. You're a lunatic, right? Like, look at the success that Shaka has brought the program immediately. And I think people are frustrated with Shaka, not necessarily this year because of the results, but because of his approach to the transfer portal, right? And his not only approach to the transfer portal, he has no approach to the transfer portal. His approach is we are going to develop our guys from within. We're going to value guys that have worn our jersey before, and we're going to grow them. And this is the first year where it's really looked like there is a flaw in that approach because they have missed on some recruits. Zayd Lowry got benched the other night against Valpo.
0 for 7.
Right? And he's a junior. Like,
15 minutes.
It's too late, man, for that to be happening. Demarius Owens can't get on the floor. So there's some guys that they've whiffed on recruiting-wise, and if those are hits, this is a whole different story. Bringing it full circle to what Will said, everything can change today. We all feel terrible about the Marquette program or the state of it in relation to the last 4 or 5 years. But if they just show some scrap and some fight today against Wisconsin on the road in what will always be a hostile environment inside the Kohl Center in Madison, it can change the whole tenor of the season. I don't even necessarily know if they have to win today in order for me to feel better about Marquette heading into the last couple of weeks of non-conference play and then the Big East season. But it starts with we started with it, lost in the fight. There's been a lack of fight through 9 games from this program, and I think we need to see examples of that from 1 o'clock until about 3:30 today.
100%. I think my word is similar in that Marquette's at a crossroads right now because they have a chosen philosophy that is kind of going against the grain of everybody else in college basketball, and this is the first year where it's not really working, and it's coming back to bite you. And unfortunately, I think that makes the fan base and the media kind of pounce on you and be like, why aren't you doing this like everybody else has? And I think that's why the program is at a bit of a crossroads in that now next year, if they stick to this same philosophy, you're going into next season thinking like, wow, this is going to be a really down year.
Maybe, but
unless
again,
things really turn around.
I don't know that the philosophy is flawed. The recruits
I don't
have been
necessarily
flawed.
think so either.
The development for that sophomore and part of the junior class has been flawed, right?
Right.
If Demarius Owens pans out and is becoming what Chase Ross found halfway through his sophomore year, this is a totally different story.
Yeah.
If Zayd Lowry becomes a slasher and a three-point shooter that we've been expecting him to become, as opposed to getting benched against Valpo, this is a whole different story. So
sure.
I think we can be okay with Shaka's approach and be proud of Shaka's approach because it has worked, right? This is still the same coach and the same program that won a Big East regular season championship in the Big East tournament 2 years ago. Like, we're not far removed from that.
Yeah.
It's just that the players within the program in the middle, right, the sophomore class and half of the junior class have not panned out or grown the way that we've wanted them to grow, and now we're seeing the results.
This philosophy just requires a lot more patience, right?
Yeah.
When Kentucky has a bad year, they go shopping, they get their shopping bag, and they get a bunch of brand new players, and it's great. And then next year, they're in the top 25 again. It's a completely different story with this type of philosophy. We're going to get into more of the transfer portal discussion later on throughout the show and get into this matchup coming up next. Is Marquette and Wisconsin a true rivalry? Which side cares about it more? We'll get into that after this. But, Brian, I know you have a message about where we're at, Potawatomi Sportsbook.
The beautiful Potawatomi Sportsbook. Hey, if you're heading to a Milwaukee Bucks game throughout the season, come on over, make a bet at the Potawatomi Sportsbook, catch a shuttle to Fiserv Forum. After a purchase or bet, you'll be given a wristband at the bar or at a betting counter upon request. You have that wristband on, you can take a shuttle to Fiserv and back. The shuttles pick up and drop off at the annex by Potawatomi Sportsbook, so they make it super easy for you to get to the Bucks game, to get back to the Bucks game. Select dates, shuttles are available for the Admirals games as well, November 14th, 15th, 29th. Those are obviously already passed, but still head out to the Admirals games as well, and there'll be more shuttles in the future. Fabulous show they put on here at Potawatomi Sportsbook all the time, come before and after games throughout the wintertime.
Matt Yazel, Brian D. Will Sommers, live here from Potawatomi Sportsbook. We'll be back with more Marquette College Game Day after this ahead of Marquette and Wisconsin.
More Golden Eagles hoops talk coming up on Marquette College Game Day. 94.5 ESPN is the home of Marquette basketball.
Purchase your tickets, grab some friends, and get to the Sylvie on Thursday, January 29th for Andy North Trivia Night presented by Exact Sciences. Enjoy a fun and inspiring evening of trivia, music, food, and refreshments while helping to raise money for UW Carbone Cancer Center. This fun and inspiring event is hosted by Andy North, and along with the trivia, the lineup includes a silent auction, celebrity appearances, and prizes. Doors open at 6. Visit AndyNorthandFriends.com to buy your tickets. Past year's events have sold out quickly, so get your tickets today.
Welcome to Jackpot Land, this fall at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Play your favorite games with your Potawatomi Rewards card all fall to win your share of thousands in prizes each month and earn entries into the big December Jackpot Land prize drawings. Your October, November, and December entries all count. Win thousands in cash or reward play. Welcome to Jackpot Land, only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Hey, it's your friend John McGivern. In a world full of chaos, I'm grateful for a health plan that has my back. Network Health is so reliable and trustworthy, they always put me and over 126,000 members first. It's just what they do and what they've always done for over 41 years. Call 833-7-NETWORK today. HMO and POS plans underwritten by Network Health Plan. Compensation has been provided for using this endorsement of Network Health.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. Can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
This holiday season, celebrate where Milwaukee comes together. 3rd Street Market Hall. Whether you're planning a private party, a semi-private gathering, or a festive social night out, we've got the space, the flavor, and the fun to make it unforgettable. With incredible local food vendors, craft cocktails, and built-in entertainment like shuffleboard, games, and more, your group will have a holiday party they'll talk about all year long. Visit thirdstreetmarkethall.com for more information on booking your event.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-511-5493. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-511-5493. That's 800-511-5493. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hi, I'm Brittany Miller from Big Frog Custom T-Shirts and more. Custom T-shirts, sweatshirts, jackets, hats, you name it, we can do it. Big Frog Custom T-Shirts and more is family owned and all about celebrating life's big moments. Maybe it's a milestone birthday, a celebration for your child's first goal, or that work fundraising event. We are everyone's printer. No minimum orders, affordable designs, and help straight from me and our team. We're the one-stop shop for all your custom needs. Start your project today at bigfrog.com/Mequon.
This is Marquette College Game Day, presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook and sponsored by National Liquor Mart, Cousin Subs, Exterior Pros, and Matrix Basement Finishing on the home of Marquette basketball, 94.5 ESPN.
A special edition of Marquette College Game Day on this gorgeous Saturday afternoon in Wisconsin. Marquette takes on Wisconsin in Madison. We're here at the Potawatomi Sportsbook in Milwaukee. Marquette College Game Day brought to you all season long by National Liquor Mart, Cousin Subs, Marquette Athletics, Exterior Pros, Potawatomi Casino Hotel, where we are right now, and Matrix Basement Finishings. Marquette basketball knows how to finish strong, and so does Matrix Basement Finishing. Turn your lower level into a space you love with craftsmanship that delivers the win every time. Matrix Basement Finishing, proud partner of Marquette Athletics. Learn more at matrixbasements.com. rivalries.com. All right. It's a rivalry. At least we certainly call it that in Milwaukee. It's the conversation that comes up every year with this annual non-conference game early in the season. The two programs that, no matter what side you're on, you have to admit both programs have been very successful in terms of not necessarily going deep in the tournament, and that's what both sides will clamor on to, but both programs have done a lot of winning. They won a lot of games, particularly under these two head coaches, Shaka Smart and Greg Gard. So let's talk about the rivalry and where it's at today. Again, Matt Yazel, Brian D. Will Sommers with you here. So, Will, I'll start with you. You are not a Marquette alum like us two here.
My
so
cousin
maybe,
goes there, so it's basically the same.
There you go.
Like I basically go there right now. So I'm basically priming right now.
He's an adopted Marquette alum.
I love that. But maybe there's a little less, I guess, bias, if you will. So I want to start with you and your perspective on the rivalry. Maybe coming in before your cousin went to Marquette or before you chose an allegiance. Give me your take on what this rivalry is.
Well, it always seemed like Marquette's cared more just because when Badger football is good and prominent during this time of year, it seems like it takes, like there's always that gray area where it takes the fan base to transition and fully get into gear for basketball season. But this year with the Badgers being so bad, and I mean, I woke up this morning and looked at Twitter, and Marquette Twitter is like, whoa boy, another game. Like, what the hell is that attitude? Like, if anything, this game should mean more for the team of Marquette because they need to keep this rivalry close. It's been close every single year, and I think it would be a huge detriment to the team who's, I don't know where their headspace is at, but if it's going down that bad path, it would be very good for them to play their rival tough and come out with a massive win. But, I mean, I think today UW fans care more, basically, but it matters more for Marquette today.
Yeah, you know, I used to fight this, guys, as a proud Marquette alum, that you know, we cared more than they did. And I used to fight this argument all the time across ESPN Wisconsin with Ben Brust and Tausche and Jason Wilde and some others. I've accepted it now. I do think Marquette cares more than Wisconsin. And I think that's okay, but Will just hit on something huge there. I do feel a lack of sizzle this year. I mean, last year at Fiserv, both of these teams were really good. Both of these teams had second weekend of the tournament aspirations.
There was a buzz in the city. Sorry to cut you off, but I was walking around and you just felt like enthused walking around the city of Milwaukee.
Absolutely.
It was incredible.
Previous year in Madison, Marquette was number 3 in the country and got upset, and Wisconsin stormed the floor. So there does feel like a lack of sizzle this year. And I think it's because not just Marquette, both programs have had not the most inspiring starts to the season, right? Marquette, we've obviously talked about. They've lost some games they should have won that were close at the end that they let get away. And Wisconsin, in their Thanksgiving tournament, lost a couple of games that they were not expecting to lose. So I do feel like there's a lack of sizzle this year, but I almost feel like it's tied to results. And to draw a comparison to a huge game happening in our state tomorrow, it's got little Packers-Bears to it. And what I mean by that is one side generally cares more than the other, right? I think Bears fans want to punch up at Packers fans more than the other, kind of like Marquette fans want to punch up to Wisconsin more than the other. It's been lopsided in some respects. It's been tight in some respects. And we've got a game today where there is a little less sizzle, but getting to the Marquette side of things and the why behind I feel it is a rivalry, and Matt, you can speak to this too. Like, I came to Wisconsin to go to Marquette from out of state, and on the first day of my freshman year, they're like, okay, Brian, here's your dorm keys. Here's a map of campus. Here's where the dining hall's at. Here's where you can do your laundry. You're moving into O'Donnell Hall. And also, turn in anything red that you have because it doesn't fly here, right? Like, they really ingrain it in the student body that this is a rivalry. Don't treat Wisconsin with respect when it comes to athletics. We hate them, right? Yep. Like, that's the way it is. There is a day on campus every year, and I don't know if they still do it or not, where you can turn in Badgers clothes and get a free Marquette t-shirt, right? Like these are things that legitimately happen at Marquette University to drum up the rivalry. So I think it means a lot to the fans. I think it means a lot to the people in the state. I do wonder if it's lost sizzle over the years because not as many players from the state of Wisconsin end up going to Marquette or Wisconsin. I think there's maybe one guy on both teams this year that is from the state, and when you don't grow up in it, it's just another game to you. You don't grow up in the vitriol and the hatred. So I do wonder if the NIL era and the lack of Vander Blues and Wesley Matthews and Tony Smiths choosing one school over the other, in some cases choosing the Milwaukee school over the Madison school when you're from Madison. I wonder if that lack of recruiting sizzle has led to the lack of of sizzle that we feel today.
Well, choosing the Milwaukee school over the Madison school is actually what I did. I did grow up in Madison, so I do have a bit of a unique perspective here. Growing up from the Madison side, I think it was like unless you were unless you were a Wisconsin student, I think most people could kind of not care as much about Marquette, right? You're not in it. I think the Badger students want to beat Marquette. Like, I'm sure some of them considered Marquette as a school. They probably have some friends that went to Marquette, possibly. Obviously, Marquette's a much smaller school population-wise. We don't need to tell you that. So that's kind of what defines this rivalry. What bothers me is when the conversation turns to, you mentioned Packers-Bears. I think it's a good comparison in some ways, but also the Packers have won, no offense, the Packers have won a lot of those games until last year. But it's kind of been a one-sided rivalry at times versus that's not what this is. These programs are equal. Marquette has a lot of history, a lot better history NBA-wise, but also just winning games-wise. Under Shaka Smart, we've talked about they've won a lot of games. Shaka finally got off the schneid against Wisconsin last year after Wisconsin won the first 3 matchups. So that's what bothers me about the conversation. I'm not bothered if Wisconsin fans say, I don't really care about Marquette. Whatever, that's fine. I think it's a really fun matchup. I think Wisconsin fans that went to the school, that go to the arena, really care a lot about beating Marquette.
That's what we need, though. What Matt just said, Wisconsin tries to talk down to Marquette and little brother Marquette on the court. And I do think there is some Marquette inferiority complex when it comes to big state school, high and mighty, that kind of thing. And I feel like that's why we try to punch up a little bit. But we don't like being talked down to either when it comes to the history of the school. And there's this short-term memory loss that exists in Madison, Wisconsin, right? Where, we went to back-to-back Final Fours and we've won Big Ten championships. But you forget that Marquette not that long ago was in a Final Four and went to 3 straight Sweet 16s and an Elite 8 and went to a second weekend recently and won a conference championship and a conference tournament recently and has won the most recent national championship of the 2 schools, right? So there is this, hey, we're married to these beautiful years in 2014 and 15 under Bo, and wow, Gardo's done great in the last 10 years, and he has. Nobody's taking any of that away. But to erase and dismiss the success that Marquette has had within that same window and period of time is, I think, why Marquette fans feel a little more vitriolic toward this rivalry. We get talked down to a little bit more.
Well, actually, I don't know if you guys are aware, Wisconsin is punching up today. Because shout out the Marquette basketball managers. Got the win against the Wisconsin managers last night. Saw that on Twitter this morning.
Will's always punching up because he's 5'4".
5'10" with insoles.
There you go.
Don't listen to him.
Yeah, it was right there.
Okay.
It was too easy.
It's okay. I'm getting taller. I think I'm still hitting a growth spurt. So, how tall is Shaka?
That would be interesting to see Shaka versus Greg Gard in terms of a height off, but we don't need to get into that today. I am excited to talk to Ben Brust on the other side because Ben is one of those people that played in this rivalry, that lived this rivalry, but came to Wisconsin from out of state. And I'm curious if there's any credence to my argument about losing the sizzle because kids aren't growing up in it anymore, and whether or not he felt how passionate the fan bases are about this as a kid from out of state. So we'll talk to Brust on the other side and get his take, not only on the rivalry, but on the game, on Wisconsin. We're on in Madison today, so we'll get some Badgers talk in. Ben Brust coming up on the other side.
And just real quick before, we talked about that last year with ESPN Madison joining in about how Wisconsin has obviously embraced the transfer portal and Marquette has not. And that has completely taken away. Even when Wisconsin has really high-level players that are upperclassmen, they didn't start their careers here. There's no history with even the state of Wisconsin, especially against anyone on Marquette. So I think it does take away from this rivalry matchup. But who better to talk to about it from the Madison side than our friend and former Badger sharpshooter, Ben Brust. He joins us on this special edition of Marquette College Game Day after the break here on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee.
More Golden Eagles hoops talk coming up on Marquette College Game Day. 94.5 ESPN is the home of Marquette basketball.
A father faces homelessness. A mother is hospitalized, and there's no one to watch their children.
La Causa Crisis Nursery and Respite Center is the only free 24/7 crisis nursery in Milwaukee. It's a safe and nurturing place for children aged 0 to 12 to stay while their parents work to regain stability and strength. Your generosity keeps La Causa's doors open and provides meals, classroom resources, mental health support, and more. Every child deserves the chance to dream, grow, and thrive. Make a difference by donating today at lacausa.org.
Nothing pairs better with Bucks basketball than hoops, friends, and the superior taste of Michelob Ultra. Join me, Josh DiMaggio, on the ESPN Milwaukee Street Team Saturday night at Club Paragon in Greenfield as we watch the Bucks take on Detroit. Tip-off at 6:30. We'll have prizes, ice-cold Michelob Ultra, and your chance to win a pair of Ultra Club Bucks Suite tickets for the December 31st home game. Michelob Ultra, the official beer sponsor of your Milwaukee Bucks. Also enjoy Michelob Ultra at Deer Camp Milwaukee, Bullwinkle's Brookfield, and 3rd Street Market Hall, Milwaukee.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
When storms hit or accidents happen, it's not just about property, it's about people. I'm Mandy Grimal-Lococo with Grimal & Associates Insurance. We help families bundle home, auto, and life coverage so you're never facing life's what-ifs alone. With the heavy rains we've seen in Milwaukee, we'll review your policy to be sure water backup, sump pump failures, and flood risks don't drain your wallet. Your home is more than walls and a roof, it's where life happens. At Grimal & Associates Insurance in Shorewood, we're here to protect your home, your family, and your peace of mind. Call us today at 414-332-0838.
One of the best things about the holidays is going home and spending time with family and friends. One of the worst things, getting there. Holiday travel can be tough, especially driving. If you or a loved one needs help after an accident this holiday season, we're here for you. Our top-notch team of experienced professionals is available 24/7. Be safe this holiday season. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Experience the excellence of Catholic Memorial High School for yourself. Come see how students gain a competitive edge at CMH. Visit CatholicMemorial.net to schedule a VIP tour or Student Shadow Day. Meet the inspiring teachers, welcoming students, and feel the energy of the CMH culture, where all students achieve more than they ever imagined possible. Visit CatholicMemorial.net to schedule your visit. That's CatholicMemorial.net. Catholic Memorial High School in Waukesha, where you rise.
At Heart of Canal Street, for over 30 years, our hearts have been set on making a difference for children in our community. Now through December 10th, we invite you to share your heart by playing the Canal Street Bingo game at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Every time you play this special bingo game, you're helping to raise funds for children's charities in southeastern Wisconsin. Learn more at potawatomi.com/heart.
Score the top gifts for the Brewers fan in your life this holiday season. Set them up for an epic 2026 season with the all-new Brewers Holiday Bundle featuring 4 ticket vouchers, loaded value concession credits, and an exclusive Brewers Holiday ornament starting at just $99. Finish shopping for even the youngest Brewers fans with the 2026 Kids Crew Kit, including one-of-a-kind Brewers merch, 6 ticket vouchers, a ballpark tour, and more, all for just $35. Grab every Brewers Holiday gift today at brewers.com.
This is Marquette College Game Day, presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook and sponsored by National Liquor Mart, Cousin Subs, Exterior Pros, and Matrix Basement Finishing on the home of Marquette basketball, 94.5 ESPN.
Marquette and Wisconsin, the annual matchup this afternoon, 1 o'clock tip-off time. We're taking you all the way up to 12:30 game night, so we'll have you for your network pregame coverage here in Milwaukee. Also a shout-out to our friends over at ESPN Madison. Both sides excited for this one today in downtown Madison. We're awaiting the arrival of one Mr. Ben Brust. He'll connect soon, hopefully, to chat with the former Badgers sharpshooter.
That's
scared.
Win number one for Marquette today. His brush is late for his head. We'll take it.
He's too consumed fighting Bears fans to come face the music right now. He's deleting all of his old tweets about him being a Bears.
So we'll wait for Mr. Brush to be able to defend himself here on Marquette College Game Day, but we'll pivot a little bit and focus on one of the huge issues for Marquette this season in their 4 losses. Again, they've lost to all 4 of the Power 5 conference teams that they've played this year, and a pretty consistent issue in multiple of those has been the late game, need a bucket. Oh, I'm being told we have Mr.
Wow.
Ben Brust. Okay, so maybe we'll push the late game situation to the next one. Ben Brust, are you here with us?
We couldn't get a shot off on the late game conversation, but we now have
just like Chase Ross.
I am here. You got me loud and clear?
We got you, buddy. Thank you for jumping on. Ben,
we were just talking. 2 seconds.
No problem. We were talking about the state of this rivalry game and whether or not it's a rivalry, and I'm curious your perspective on it from when you played, Ben, because you came into the state from out of state, and I think that's the biggest problem with the rivalry right now is you don't have kids that grew up in Wisconsin playing at either school, and I think it takes away from the sizzle. So were you able to feel the passion from the fan base for these 4 games when you played them from 2010 to 2014?
Well, yeah, for me it was easy because, like you mentioned, everyone, when I was back in the day, like played in high school basketball, Wisconsin, Vanderblue with the flip from Wisconsin to Marquette. So it was huge, yes. Like everyone that I knew, and even the Minnesota kids, like who came to Wisconsin, like they knew about it. I didn't know about it that much, but as soon as you put on the red, it's like, yeah, you want to beat Marquette. Now it's just weird now. And also, I think for the rivalry to be good, both teams have to be good, and there's been that. But this year, like it just, I don't know. I think the transient nature of college basketball makes it feel like I have less juice for it. I'm excited for it, but it's not the same.
Right, and Ben, do you think that also speaks to this is such an early season matchup? Like that, it feels like you kind of have to drum up the juice for it a little bit on your own because they don't play in the same conference, right? And both teams have lost a few games, obviously, especially on Marquette's side. But do you think that kind of hampers it down a little bit as well?
I think it's also like every game, because they're playing less and less of the directional school games where you try and look at every game as like which one's the resume builder, right? Like you look around now, like Purdue right now is playing Iowa State. You know, you have Michigan State and Duke. You got all these games going around in early December, and then like a rivalry game where it like isn't going to have any effect on either team's long-term NCAA viewpoint. So it's just like, yeah, you want to win, but it probably doesn't hurt Wisconsin as much. And if Marquette wins, there's a pride thing, and maybe it rejuvenates their season. But the way it looks for me is I just don't know how Marquette will keep up from a scoring standpoint.
Ben, we were talking a little bit earlier about Shaka Smart's transfer portal mentality. I'm curious your thoughts on the current state of the transfer portal in NIL and college basketball today.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, like, I think all of you or any Marquette fan, especially Brian, like, it's got to be frustrating to see like it's admirable to do what Shaka was doing, and like it worked to a certain degree, but you kind of got to reevaluate, because you have to be good every year because you have the ability to be good every year. There's so many ways to be good. Whether you get the best recruits, you got to have a lot of money for that. Whether you get the right transfer portal kids. So I think for him, for Shaka specifically, because the reason why guard is able to like have a lot of faith amongst Badger fans, despite the lack of like second weekend tournament run, is it's been fun. They are playing a different style. They're bringing in talented players because of the way that they got, believe it or not, AJ Storr was a good thing because it showed you could like get a guy and he moved on after he had a good season and quit at the end of the season. But that got John Tonje. And now you're getting different guys to come in because you have a proof of concept. So I'd be curious like what the Marquette strategy is from a proof of concept standpoint to be able to get people Like, why would I transfer to Marquette? It was, well, you're going to get in the NBA, but if you're not going to get guys in with that roster right now, how are you supposed to sell that in the offseason?
Yeah, Ben Brust with us here on Marquette College Game Day, former Badger. It's an interesting point, and I'd be curious to ask you because it does feel like Shaka and Marquette are at an inflection point where a philosophy change needs to happen. And that philosophy change has happened at Wisconsin. So reverse engineering it, what do you think made Coach Gard change? Because Wisconsin went from this efficient, let's look for good shots, let's take the air out of the basketball, let's play great defense style, to let's shoot a bunch of threes and let's dive into the transfer portal. And all of a sudden we're scoring 80 or 90 points a game. What do you think that inflection point was for Coach Gard?
Well, partially it was Kirk Penny, who came in, is no longer with the program. He was he was helping them, then became a special assistant, and he's moving back to New Zealand, but he's like a FIBA Hall of Famer. And so he brought in like that European concept of like pace and space and like creating driving lanes and getting guys that dribble, pass, shoot well. Because that's like, if you look at it in the NBA, the best players right now, of the top 10, 7 or 8 of them are Europeans. And they're catching up to the Americans. So the way that they're playing helped from Kirk Penny. And I don't really know why. And to be honest, it's frustrating at times. I'm not going to act like I love it all the time because they don't stop anybody. And that's what was their Achilles heel against BYU last year. And you've seen teams that also can score. My problem with Wisconsin is, okay, that's great. You're able to bring in a bunch of talent, but you can't teach them the defensive rules that you had the 2 to 3 years to build up with, like seniors teaching the juniors and juniors teaching the freshmen. So now you're bringing all these guys. Yeah, they can score, but can they play team defense together in like a big game? Because I just don't know if they're going to outscore the best teams in the country, if that makes sense, in like big moments. So it's gonna, like, they're going to win a lot of games. It's going to be fun, but I'm scared that there's not enough like defensive concepts that you like, you almost like sold yourself to the other side in a way.
Yeah, there's a ceiling on it because of the philosophy install and guys buying into the program for an extended period of time. It's a nice segue into the question I was going to ask you. If the current state of college basketball was the state of college basketball when you were in school from 2010 to 2014, do you think you would have stayed at Wisconsin for 4 years?
No, absolutely not. My sophomore year, the first 5 games, I was leading the team in scoring, a lot of non-conference opponents, but also against UNLV and BYU. I tied the school record at 7 3-pointers made in 2 games early on as a sophomore. I didn't play a lot. I played a lot early in Big Ten season. Then I got sort of put on the, you're going to go in. If you don't do anything, you're coming out. So, like, I was frustrated. And there was, like, the thought, and everyone had that thought. I guarantee Frank Kaminsky had that thought when you're in that, like, sophomore year, you feel like you deserve more. Like, I can leave. But you have to sit out. So I don't think it all would have been the way it was. For sure. Yeah, definitely would have thought about it. And then the money component, like if someone saw the tape that I had and offered me more money than Wisconsin, like I'm not saying I would have left, but it's definitely something you have to consider.
Okay, Ben, let's look real quick at the matchup today. You mentioned the offense. For any Marquette fans that haven't watched Wisconsin at all, you have 2 guards combining to average over 40 points a game. What do you like about what you've seen from this Wisconsin team, and is there anything about the Marquette matchup that concerns you for the Badger side?
I really like the matchup for the Badgers because Marquette's bigs aren't very good. Like Ben Gold's kind of the same guy. Hamilton has no feet. So like if you have really good bigs, I think that like Rapp and Nolan Winter are susceptible to like offensive rebounds and kind of like getting out physical, but they won't do that. And I just don't think they can keep up with the guards from a scoring standpoint. So Boyd and Blackwell can score. Rhodey's a good, solid player. And then they have bigs who can shoot, and Marquette doesn't have bigs that can dominate them down low. That would be where I'm worried long term.
Ben, as someone who played in this rivalry game 4 times, I'm just curious, what were your personal stats like in these games? I haven't had a chance to look, so I'm just curious.
This is a setup.
No, what are they? What? I'm curious.
No, why don't you ask Brian D.?
So I did a little digging because I saw a clip of Todd Mayo hitting a shot over Ben his sophomore year on Twitter earlier this week. So I got curious and went digging for his stats. Ben was an all-time great shooter at Wisconsin. He was 10 of 38 from the field in 4 years against Marquette. What did we do so well against you, or were these self-inflicted wounds and just bad shooting days for you?
I had... Hang on 1 second. I cannot talk.
I hope that's your daughter.
That was my wife asking me for something. Uh-oh. I just dropped water. So freshman year, I actually played, and I airballed a floater. I don't know how you airball a floater. Sophomore year, Jordan Taylor got in foul trouble, and I think I took like 13 shots, and I was not efficient.
3 of 14 or something. It was
crazy. It was bad. Junior year, which was actually horrible, my quad blew up on the bus ride there, and so I played hurt, but like that's no excuse to play, you play.
How did you blow up your quad on a bus?
Just like it just inflamed. It happened actually in the NCAA
it's
tournament.
A big
in the
step
Final
to get
Four.
up out of the bus.
Really? I don't know. In the Final Four, I was getting treatment for 24 hours in the hotel room to try and like push out all the fluids of my quad because it just blew up. And that was the only other time Marquette in my junior year and senior year before Kentucky in the Final Four. But yeah, I sucked, but I did have a good senior year game, which led us to 10-0, I think, at the time, getting us to 16-0, best start in school history. So I'll take that on the back end. Like, you want to leave a winner. I left a winner.
There you go. Well, he's that's why we love him. He's the only guy who could ever hurt himself sitting down on a bus. Ben, thanks for the time, buddy. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the game. Thanks, man.
That is
Thank
so
you,
true. Thanks, guys.
All right. The ever injury-prone Ben Bruss. Thanks, Ben.
Ben Bruss joining us here on Marquette College Game Day. When we come back, we're going to get back into that late game conversation. What does Marquette need to do to adjust and make some key buckets down the stretch in this one in Madison today? You're listening to Marquette College Game Day on ESPN Milwaukee and ESPN Madison.
More Golden Eagles hoops talk coming up on Marquette College Game Day. 94.5 ESPN is the home of Marquette basketball. It doesn't matter if it's your first betting slip ever or just the first one of the week. We've got your Potawatomi sportsbook picks covered. Tune in Wednesdays to the Weekly Wager with Josh DiMaggio and Ben Brust.
Greasy Ben Brust. Just whichever way the wind's blowing. I have bad posture. I don't have a great backbone, Joshy.
The Weekly Wager, Wednesday nights at 6, right here on 94.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel.
At Marquette University, it's all about finishing strong, just like Matrix Basement Finishing. From first tip to final buzzer, Marquette plays with purpose and passion and precision values shared by the Matrix teams in every lower-level transformation they complete. Hey, it's Greg Matzik, and as someone currently having my own basement finished by Matrix, I can tell you firsthand they truly live up to their name. Whether you're cheering from the stands or relaxing in your newly finished basement, remember the best teams and the best homes always finish strong.
Season, give gifts that build pride and strengthen relationships long after the holidays are over. Visit alphacustomapparel.com and start your holiday gifting today.
Fisco is always there for your auto body care. When accidents happen, Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin is there when you need them. Got a broken mirror? They'll take care of it. Dented bumper? Scratch paint? Fisco Auto Body will take care of it. If there's any damage you need fixed, Fisco has you covered. Their expert workmanship is guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. So stop in for all of your auto bumps and dings. Once again, you know the line. That's Fisco.
Kringle, all I want for Christmas is you.
Dad!
What?
We've talked about this. Yeah, your jingle for your Kringle entry last year was so lame that Racine Danish Kringle banned you from their contest.
I thought it was only a one holiday season ban.
It was a lifetime ban.
Well, I guess I'm out, but here's how you can enter our ESPN Wisconsin Racine Danish Kringle Jingle for Your Kringle contest on Wilde & Tausch. Submit your own original jingle to ESPNWisconsinContest.com. Then we'll pick the most creative songs, and our grand prize winner will get Kringle for a year. Make sure you include Racine Danish Kringle. It's not just a treat, it's a tradition in your jingle. Kringle. If you don't want to sing, but you still want to celebrate the holidays with Racine Danish Kringle, call 800-4DANISH or visit Kringle.com and order their all-new flavor, Peppermint Brownie Kringle.
Racine Danish Kringle, such a tasty, yummy treat. With a flaky crust and sweet icing, it's the best thing you can eat.
Oh, like that's so much better than mine.
Well, at least we're not off key.
Homer here for Window Nation's end of the year sale. It's cold here in Milwaukee, and if you've been thinking about new windows, it's good you waited, because during Window Nation's end of the year sale, get 50% off, plus you could get 0% interest for 5 years. On windows that stop the cold wintry drafts, seal out moisture, and so energy efficient, you'll save money on your utility bills. Installed in 1 day. Lifetime warranty and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Sale ends soon. Don't miss out on big savings. WindowNation.com to get started.
Your path to a degree should fit your life, not the other way around. At Lakeland University, you can personalize every part of your college experience. With a main campus in Sheboygan, evening classes across the state, and flexible online options, you choose how and when you learn. Just graduated high school, changing careers, juggling work and life, they've got options for you. You can even earn credit for experience you already have, or for the work you're doing now, saving time and money. Start customizing your future today at lakeland.edu/ESPN. Lakeland University. Experience it your way.
This is Marquette College Game Day, presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook and sponsored by National Liquor Mart, Cousin Subs, Exterior Pros, and Matrix Basement Finishing on the home of Marquette basketball, 94.5 ESPN.
Rivalry Day here in Wisconsin. Marquette taking on the Badgers just out west in Madison. Matt Yazel, Brian D. Will Sommers with you here from Potawatomi Sportsbook on Marquette College Game Day. Let's break down a little bit more on the Marquette side, and one of the many hot topics from this Golden Eagles season so far, 5-4 coming into today, and that is the late game plays when you need a bucket in the final seconds. We've seen a few, and really none of them have worked out. Despite Marquette's second half, almost comeback really, against Valparaiso, managing to win that game, it was a similar situation at the end where you kind of just handed the ball to Chase Ross and you managed to not get a shot up.
Let's walk through them, because this has been a recurring issue for Marquette in some losses and some wins. The first one was against Dayton. Marquette had an opportunity. They stormed back in the second half to try and beat Dayton. They had a chance to win the game. It was tied. They had the ball, a chance to win the game. Did not get a shot off. Not only did they not get a shot off, Ben Gold sprained his ankle on the play. How you sprain your ankle while not getting a shot off is like Ben Brust hurting himself sitting on a bus. I don't know how you do it. So that was instance number one. Marquette ends up losing the game in overtime. Fast forward to the Oklahoma game in Chicago on Black Friday. Marquette blows a huge second half lead, still finds a way down one to get the ball after a timeout with a chance to win the game, and gets a horrible shot off. At least they got a shot off. That was a step in the right direction, but it was a Chase Ross fade away from the elbow jumper that never really had a chance. Fast forward to the Valpo game, an eventual victory. You had a chance to win it in regulation, couldn't get it done. I think the issue here is, have you guys ever been on the phone with a girl late at night that you like?
No.
And you're like, I'm just kidding, sorry. I should have asked ahead of time, done some research here, knowing you two knuckleheads. Sometimes when you're on the phone with a girl that you like, and it's like 3 a.m., it's like, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. That's what's happening with Marquette's offense at the end of these games. It's like, Chase, you shoot. No, Ben Gold, you shoot. Nigel James, here's the ball, you shoot. No, I'm just a freshman. Here, Chase, you shoot. And by the time that happens,
I'm
it's
just
like,
a baby.
The buzzer went off 5 seconds ago. What the hell happened, guys?
Yep.
So here's what I would like to see happen, and this is immensely frustrating because for all of the things that Steve Wojciechowski did wrong in his time at Marquette, every single time there was an end-of-game situation or an out-of-timeout situation, Wojo drew up a freaking Mona Lisa, and Marcus Howard or Sam Hauser or Joey Hauser was wide open and knocking down a three. It happened without fail. He was amazing at drawing up plays. So what I think needs to happen, because clearly whether it's Shaka, whether it's Nevada Smith, who is supposed to be this offensive guru for Marquette, whatever it is, somebody's got to get better at drawing up plays. That's number one. But I don't know if that's going to happen. So what I would like to see happen as a Marquette fan is hand the ball off to Chase Ross at half court and let him run as fast as he can at the rim and live with the result. Whether he gets fouled, whether he gets a charge, whether he makes the basket. And like if they're up 3, I would rather have him run at the rim as fast as he can and try and get fouled and make an and one than what we're trying to do with this you do it, no you do it thing that they've got going on at the end of games. It's just not working. Put the ball in the hands of your best player. Let him be an athlete like the athlete that he is and live with the consequences.
I disagree because I think they just don't have a shooter. Like in these late game situations, if you're going to ISO, you need to have somebody in the corner that's a threat to knock down a 3. And the problem is they don't. They don't have somebody who can consistently make open shots. And what that does is that allows that guy who's playing in the corner to come in on that help defense, and then it's like, all right, yeah, you get past the first guy, and then there's a 7-footer.
Ben Gold is supposed to be that guy,
yes.
But his game has devolved so much that all he really does is shoot threes anymore. Like he hasn't been able to shot fake and get inside and actually make a layup. And because of that, there's no threat of him doing that. So people can guard him well. And you're right, outside of that, like honestly, their most reliable three-point shooter this year, in my opinion, has been Adrian Stevens, the freshman. And I just don't think you're going to put him on the court in an end-of-game situation like they've had now 4 different times in 9 games. That's the other thing. A couple of these games never should have been end-of-game situations to begin with, right?
Sure, and that's another conversation. But let me add this from Shaka Smart after the Valparaiso game. He said about when he was asked about the play, we had the ball in the hands of the guy we wanted, Chase Ross. Then he goes into saying maybe it was a foul. Some people were saying that. Whatever. I don't really care about that. I think it somewhat goes along with what you're saying of get the ball in the hands of Chase Ross. Unfortunately, I don't think Shaka can hide behind the fact that that's all his plan was to get it to Chase Ross and let him do something. And I think, unfortunately, this is not an issue that's just been this year. It's kind of been since he took over. And to be honest, you had a guy in Cam Jones who could bail you out of those situations. But
Tyler, dude. Tyler was so crafty getting inside and making floaters and
100%.
And creating space.
Yeah, going back to all that, too, you had a Joplin who you could kick it out to if you ever needed a contested 3.
100%.
I don't think anyone, no one made more clutch contested 3s than David Joplin.
Yeah, I think you need to, as opposed to just letting Chase cook, which Chase is a great player. I don't think that's his strength, and I don't think if he's able to get to the next level, I don't think he's ever going to be the primary ball handler on a team, and that's okay. I think you do need to get back to the drawing board and seriously understand. Everybody needs to understand what they're doing prior to the play, and everyone needs to know where their spots are, know where they're going, and that's just not even close to what we've seen on the court.
The other thing I would toss out here, too, is I mean, it's December. Nigel James has been on campus probably since last spring, right?
They get him here early at Marquette.
Like, you're not really a freshman anymore, and he's playing well enough. I'm fine with Nigel taking the ball in that moment if we don't feel good about Chase just trying to cook, right?
Sure.
Like, he has done enough 9 games into his collegiate career where I would feel comfortable if I was Shaka Smart, given what this season is going to be. It doesn't look like it's going to be a tournament year. And anybody who's holding on to hopes of that, I love you. I hope that they can get it cooking in Big East play, and a win today or a huge win next weekend against Purdue would really change my outlook on that. This team is 154th in the net rankings right now. They're not even close to sniffing a tournament bid. This is about growth and development at this point. So I don't mind putting the ball in Nigel James Jr.'s hands down the stretch. And guys, I would sign up again in a heartbeat right now. What is it, 11:56? If it's 2:55 and there's 10 seconds left and Marquette has an opportunity for a game-winning shot inside the Kohl Center today, you can sign me up for that right now.
No, and to your point about Nigel, too, I feel like that last game, he kind of flipped that switch and said, I'm not a freshman. I can't be a freshman. If I'm going to be the second best player on this team, I cannot let my youth take over my offensive ability. Like, I saw him, I think it was the first possession of the game. He went right at, like, the big man of... Sorry, who'd they play? Valpo, yeah. He went right at the Valpo big man and took it in for a hard contested layup. And I think earlier in the season we saw him be a little timid, especially with the three-pointers too. He can shoot a little bit. So yeah, I'm definitely comfortable, especially with this. I think it's like a new mindset that he has where he's like, all right, I'm done like letting people pass it around and pass up shots. I'm just going to go do it myself.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we'll get into a little bit more of Marquette's philosophy. We've touched on it a bit, but let's do a deeper dive and compare it against Wisconsin as we get ready for this Marquette-Wisconsin matchup today from Madison. This is Marquette College Game Day on ESPN Milwaukee and ESPN Madison.
More Golden Eagles hoops talk coming up on Marquette College Game Day. 94.5 ESPN is the home of Marquette basketball.
Give the gift of a special night out from the Bartolotta restaurants. Purchase a gift card at bartolottas.com and get a $20 holiday bonus for every $100 you spend. Happy holidays from all of us at the Bartolotta restaurants. And thank you, Milwaukee.
Pain has a way of stealing the moments that matter most, especially during the holidays. It's not just your knees, your back, or your shoulders. It's time with family and friends. But in 2026, that all could change when your body remembers how to heal. It just needs a little help finding the way back. Dr. Ashley Caravelli and her team at QC Kinetics here in Milwaukee believe relief doesn't just come from surgery or pain pills. They use your body's own natural healing abilities to repair and restore what's been lost. It's your body's comeback story, powered by the very cells that built you in the first place. No surgery, no pain pills, no long recovery. Just your body remembering how to feel alive again. QC Kinetics delivers that long-term relief that you're finally looking for. Make the new year your turning point where pain stops defining you. It's time to take that first step. Literally. Time to walk, enjoy the holidays, live without pain, and live without hesitation. With QC Kinetics, healing is within reach. Schedule your free consultation today at QC Kinetics. Give them a call at 414-240-2298. That's 414-240-2298. 414-240-2298.
Did you forget the first day of school is this week and little Nancy still needs her name embroidered on her backpack? Or the company shirts are due now, not next week? Maybe the boss just declared Steve's retirement party is today and the shirts are mandatory? Whatever the rush, Big Frog Custom T-shirts and more in Mequon has got you covered. With fast turnarounds, no minimums, eco-friendly printing, and high-quality custom apparel, Big Frog brings your custom ideas to life fast. Stop by Big Frog in Mequon or visit bigfrog.com/Mequon. Big Frog Custom T-shirts and more, where your ideas leap.
This is Brian Balaga. You're listening to 94.5 ESPN.
94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is Marquette College Game Day, presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook and sponsored by National Liquor Mart, Cousin Subs, Exterior Pros, and Matrix Basement Finishing on the home of Marquette basketball, 94.5 ESPN.
Special Marquette College Game Day on ESPN Milwaukee and ESPN Madison today, prior to the Golden Eagles taking on the Badgers at the Kohl Center. Marquette College Game Day brought to you all season long by National Liquor Mart, Cousin Subs, Marquette Athletics, Exterior Pros, Potawatomi Casino Hotel, where we bring this show to you today, and Matrix Basement Finishings. Marquette basketball knows how to finish strong, and so does Matrix Basement Finishing. Turn your lower level into a space you'll love with craftsmanship that delivers the win every time. Matrix Basement Finishing, proud partner of Marquette Athletics. Learn more at matrixbasements.com. Let's start with an update from Madison. No Demarius Owens today for Marquette. He did not make the trip to Madison with an illness, so he is still here in Milwaukee.
He probably would have got hurt on the bus like Ben Bruss.
Yeah.
If you're just joining us, former Badger Ben Bruss joined us in the first hour and outlined how he blew up his quad on a bus ride to the arena before he played Marquette his junior year.
Not ideal. So no Demarius Owens for Marquette today. The other positive update, Sean Jones is warming up for the first time since he exited early this season with a shoulder injury, and he's missed a few games. No word on yet if he'll play or not, but it's certainly a positive
So
sign.
that's an exciting development to me, because if you remember 2 years ago, in the wake of the late game situation that we just had, and Marquette's futile performances and not getting shots up late in games so far this season, Marquette had a late game situation against the number one team in the country at the Maui Invitational 2 years ago.
That was so much fun.
When they won that game, I'm sorry, forgive me, they blew out the number one team in the country when they beat Kansas. It was the game before that to get to the Kansas game against UCLA.
It was like 1 a.m. here.
It was, yeah. You remember who made the shot? The game-winning shot was made by Sean Jones in his freshman year. So he's got a little bit of that clutch gene. He's proved it before. I hope he plays today. And I'm curious to see how they manage minutes between Sean and Nigel James Jr., who has become, in my opinion, one of their top 2 players this year.
Yeah, Matt talked about it a little bit earlier. The Badgers guards this year have been elite. Nick Boyd and John Blackwell averaging combined 40 points. And I feel like the guards, Chase Ross and Nigel James, kind of guarding the guards of their opponents, have kind of gotten worn out a little bit. Yep. I miss the intensity Sean Jones brings, and he is so fun to watch play. He's everywhere, and he's consistently
I think you just like
hard.
Short guys.
Yeah, no, I like short
as a fellow short king, you like the short king.
Guess who my favorite baseball player was growing up?
Pudge Rodriguez.
I asked you this the other day, and you actually answered it correctly. But
I
now
did?
You forgot.
Omar Vizquel.
No. Jose Altuve.
Oh, that's right.
He made me feel like I always had a chance.
We could have gone all day. That was a Chewy moment there where my brain just stopped working.
All right, let's switch over to the transfer portal philosophy. Obviously, that is a story in this rivalry between the 2 top Wisconsin programs. Wisconsin has pretty much fully embraced it, maybe a little late to the party compared to the rest of the country and big schools. Marquette has completely went the opposite way. And I think it's worth noting as we start this conversation, it's not just that Marquette is not acquiring transfers, they're also not losing any of their own players. I think I'm going to start this off by saying that I think if Chase Ross were in a lot of other programs, coming into the situation where he knows his team is losing 3 senior starters, a ton of the scoring, he's going to be the guy with a lot of younger talent around him. I think if he was in a lot of other situations, he would have transferred to another school, but he didn't. And I think that's a big part of this conversation that might get lost at times as well.
Well, that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
It's a good thing. And Shaka said it with our own Alex Strofe, who we can get to in his divided shirt today. Alex did a great series. You can see it on the ESPN Milwaukee YouTube page, Coaches Week, where he did long-form sit-down interviews with Shaka Smart, Greg Gard, Doug Gottlieb, who threw a chair earlier this week, and Bart Lundy from the 4 respective major college basketball schools in the state. And Shaka said 2 years ago on Coaches Week that the only place you should leave Marquette for is the NBA. And that has rung true by and large, right? So it's a good thing that, we're hanging on to our players at Marquette. That's a fabulous thing. But at the same time, if you're not developing guys to an NBA level, you're going to have to dip into the transfer portal. And I think it's a proud and brave and good thing that Shaka has done, a noble thing in this era of college basketball so far. But I think it's pretty clear at this point, next year's senior class is not going to be solid enough to give you legitimate great minutes to carry this program forward the way you need to. I would not be surprised at all if next offseason is the time where you see Shaka dip into the transfer portal and try to bring in a Marquette guy, right? Like, I don't think you have to go out and go shopping for a guy that's going to command a couple $1,000,000 and not fit the culture of who you are and what you want to be. I think you can have the best of both worlds. Tyler Kolek was a transfer. Right?
I was just going to bring him up. George Mason.
Yeah, that's the type of guy that you're looking for. Obviously, you'd love to have Tyler Kolek back, but a guy that fits the ethos of your program that can also come in and give you some scoring punch and some experience next year because, I mean, we can call a spade a spade. This junior class ascending to seniors is just, they haven't panned out the way that Shaka had hoped.
It's not like Shaka doesn't know how to get great talent from the portal. Obviously, Omax came from a big school in Clemson, and Kolek came from a smaller school. Like, that's how you have to build a team when you take over as head coach. So he certainly knows how to do it, but he's just kind of stuck his foot in the mud in this philosophy.
Yeah, I think the reason that he is that way is it's because he's scared of losing the culture, and he preaches all these things, and I heard him talking Big East Media Week earlier before the season started, that he wants to attract what he's putting out, so, and that I think primarily in his mind is these high school players that want to win, they want to be loyal, they want to grow their relationships, growth values. We talk about all those things. But I think you can still accomplish that in the transfer portal like we just talked about with Kolek, with Omax. And I think, like you said, Brian, with this junior class, like spade a spade, not being able to get it done, I think it's very important that they target experienced players. Like whether or not that's a mid-major, whether or not that's a big Power 5 or Power 4 school program, I think it's important because like right now, Nigel James, it's great. He's a freshman. He's our second best player. But at the same time, a freshman probably shouldn't be your second best player.
Yeah. And if you're looking for a glowing example of a program and a school that has held on to their culture but amended it by using the transfer portal, look no further than the Wisconsin Badgers. And I was a huge critic of, probably the biggest critic of the way Wisconsin played basketball up until 2 or 3 years ago, right? They played basketball like it was 1926. And it was just infuriating to watch of, we're going to try and beat you 40-38. It was just gross. But Greg Gard understood in the last 2 or 3 years, and we talked to Ben Brust about it, he hit an inflection point where it's like, okay, it's 2026. We got to outscore some teams, and we got to bring in guys that fit the ability and the skill set to be able to do that. And they brought in John Tonje. Now, I don't think it changed their culture or the ethos of their program, that they're going to be hardworking, they're going to be efficient, they're going to play good defense. Like, that's what Wisconsin is always going to be. But you can be that while also bringing in external forces to add to that culture, to build on that culture. That's exactly what Wisconsin did. I think Greg Gard deserves a ton of credit for that.
That's why I think this game has that kind of, and I'll land the plane.
Let him cook.
That Catholics versus convicts game type feel. Let me explain.
Whoa.
So in a year where Marquette fans are infatuated with the transfer portal and saying, why can't we be like Wisconsin? Look at them. I think it is that like transfer portal versus non-transfer portal game where these schools aren't separated by a lot. It's 78 miles. I did the research, 78 miles down I-94. They're recruiting from the same area. So I think for Marquette fans, they're going to look at this game and be like, well, this is what we could eventually be. Like Brian mentioned, Wisconsin team that gained all these transfer portal players, that built from within, but still was able to maintain that culture. I think it's kind of going to show like the new age of college basketball versus the old age of college basketball with the way these two teams are built.
Absolutely. And I think, Wisconsin, while embracing the portal, I mentioned this last year, there was a point where anybody who really showed some talent there was leaving the program, right? And that hasn't happened to Marquette. Now, I mentioned if Marquette struggles continue, you're kind of at a crossroads, and I think the concern would start to grow that you're going to lose some guys this offseason. And you want to plan for Nigel to be your point guard for the next 3 years after this one. I hope that's what he plans after this season, because that's a guy you want to build around, because Marquette has good recruits coming in. Shaka has done a great job getting guys to come in. I'm super excited for Ian Milicic to come in, who's redshirting this year. There's talent coming down the pipeline. It's not all, darkness ahead. But it takes that winning culture to keep guys here. Shaka's not locking guys in a closet in the offseason in the Al McGuire Center to keep them at Marquette.
Except Caden Hamilton, who we locked in a closet and made make 10,000 jump shots. He did do that.
Absolutely.
He was locked in a closet all summer.
Even if, that's why it's so important to see, not necessarily a win today, but I think this season needs to turn in the positive direction at some point. You have to compete in Big East play, even if you're going to lose these next 2 games, because you can't have a non-conference season where you don't get one signature win among many chances and then have a bad Big East season and expect to compete again next year, in my opinion.
Yeah, it feels like it's got to be today, right? Because, winning at Purdue against the number 1 team in the country. By the way, they're down at halftime right now. Take that for what it's worth.
To number 10 Iowa State.
Of course.
I actually hate that.
That's going to be a steep
revenge game.
Bounce back
but
in.
It does sort of feel like, if we make a Packers comparison, right? Early in the year, it was Armageddon against the Cowboys, right? And they tied that game. And people were like, well, it's over with, right? The Browns game. There were games early in the year for the Green Bay Packers where we're like, this is not a Super Bowl year. And it changes so quickly when you get those marquee wins. When you go to Detroit and you beat the Lions, the whole outlook of the season and the way that you feel about it changes just like that. Today could be one of those games for Marquette. If they win today, and I'm not expecting them to win, but if they pull off this victory against an in-state rival on the road, I'm fascinated to hear this show in 2 weeks' time for our first game of Big East play, and just how different the tenor and the future of the season sounds.
And we talk about it, I think we talked about it on our last show, where last year's team was kind of the opposite of where we're at now, where they excelled during the non-conference schedule and then kind of fell off towards Big East play. What if we turn it around today, like Brian said, and we can go on a run here late in the year?
Yeah, it's been the exact opposite for in a very extended period of time here, dating back to the Wojo year, where Marquette has been really strong in non-conference play, really strong through the month of January, and as soon as the calendar flips to February 1st, the bottom falls out.
Yep.
That's a Marquette thing. Like that's become a trend. And maybe this is the flip side of the coin. That's the hopeful optimist in me speaking here. I don't know if it's going to happen. I think this is a transitional developmental year for Marquette. That's not a bad thing. It's just the reality. But I do think the mindset of the fan base as a whole can flip big time if Marquette pulls off the victory today.
That's the hope. Flip the momentum, build the young talent as you go along. All right, when we come back, our boy Gabe Neitzel joins us, your network pregame host. He's going to wrap up our show here on Marquette College Game Day after the break on ESPN Milwaukee and ESPN Madison.
More Golden Eagles hoops talk coming up on Marquette College Game Day. 94.5 ESPN is the home of Marquette basketball. While the Bears finally know how it feels to win a couple of games, they're going to have to get through Big Brother to go any further.
Love loads up, going deep. Christian Watson down there. He's got it! Touchdown, Packers!
It's the Bears and the Packers at Lambeau Field. Get ready for the big game with Green Bay Game Day at noon and Green Bay Game Night after the game on 94.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
At Marquette University, it's all about finishing strong, just like Matrix Basement Finishing. From first tip to final buzzer, Marquette plays with purpose and passion and precision values shared by the Matrix teams in every lower level transformation they complete. Hey, it's Greg Matzik, and as someone currently having my own basement finished by Matrix, I can tell you firsthand they truly live up to their name. Whether you're cheering from the stands or relaxing in your newly finished basement, remember the best teams and the best homes always finish strong.
A blizzard of $300,000 in prizes is rolling into Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. It's Arctic action. One in? Step 1. Earn entries with your rewards card December 1st through the 18th. Step 2. Show up for Thursday drawings. Step 3. Be ready for a chance to pick from a weekly prize board. As a bonus, there'll be a jackpot drawing for the leftover prizes. Arctic action. Only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
There's a holiday gift out there that everyone loves. It's compact, tasty, and one size fits all. It's a Cousin Subs gift card. Make your life a little easier. Give your friends and family a better gift this holiday season. Purchase $30 in gift cards today at your favorite Cousin Subs location and receive a certificate for a free 7.5-inch sub. Oh man, that's the gift that keeps on giving. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
People say buying a home in winter is tough.
But fewer buyers means less competition, and motivated sellers can mean better opportunities.
This is Tony Wendorf with Tony Wendorf & Associates First Weber.
And I'm Lindsay Bendler. When the perfect home appears, our team at Tony Wendorf & Associates helps you move fast, even during the snow.
Start your home journey today with our white glove service by simply searching online Tony Wendorf.
A real estate team that always leads with faith and gratitude.
Tony Wendorf & Associates.
Nothing pairs better with Bucks basketball than hoops, friends, and the superior taste of Michelob Ultra. Join me, Josh DiMaggio, on the ESPN Milwaukee Street Team Saturday night at Club Paragon in Greenfield as we watch the Bucks take on Detroit. Tip-off at 6:30. We'll have prizes, ice-cold Michelob Ultra, and your chance to win a pair of Ultra Club Bucks Suite tickets for the December 31st home game. Michelob Ultra, the official beer sponsor of your Milwaukee Bucks. Also enjoy Michelob Ultra at Deer Camp Milwaukee, Bullwinkle's Brookfield, and 3rd Street Market Hall, Milwaukee.
Sendix is making gift-giving easy this holiday. Sendix Home is offering 20% off a different item each day. This week, get 20% off clothing accessories Monday, 20% off home decor on Tuesday, a new deal every day through Sunday, December 7th. Go to Sendix.com to see the daily deals. Find something special for a loved one, or treat yourself. After all, you deserve it. Sendix, your trusted local grocer.
Hey, it's Brad Nortman, and when it comes to my home, I want a team that I can trust, and that's Lifetime Home Services. From cleaner air and radon safety to custom closets and electrical work, they do it all under one roof. What I'm most excited about right now is their epoxy floors. They make your garage clean, durable, and organized with shelving and storage to get everything off the floor. For over 30 years, families have trusted Lifetime Home Services to make their homes safer and better looking. Trusted solution, lifetime results. Schedule today at lifetimehomeservices.com.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just for you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today. This is Marquette College Game Day, presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook and sponsored by National Liquor Mart, Cousin Subs, Exterior Pros, and Matrix Basement Finishing on the home of Marquette basketball, 94.5 ESPN.
Wrapping up this special Marquette College Game Day prior to the Golden Eagles taking on the Badgers out west in Madison. Matt Yazel, Brian D., Will Summers with you here from the Potawatomi Sportsbook, and we're wrapping up with a bang. We're joined now by your Marquette Network pregame and halftime host, Gabe Neitzel, to talk about this matchup. And Gabe, we've talked a little bit. We were joined by Ben Brust earlier, our teammate, of course, about kind of the state of this rivalry. You've covered this Marquette team for quite a while. What is your stance on where this current rivalry is at between Marquette and Wisconsin?
I mean, I think it's always high. It's probably higher than everybody wants to admit because, Wisconsin fans want to typically pretend like it doesn't matter, but then if they win, they're rubbing in everybody's faces. I think it's right where it needs to be. It needs to be, a good rivalry game. It needs to be a game that, it's going to boost the resume of whoever wins. And both these teams, coming in unranked right now is something that we haven't been used to seeing from these two teams as they've been pretty good the last couple of seasons. So, I mean, coming into this game, I think it's whoever walks away with a win, it's a nice little boosting game as they start heading towards conference play, even though Wisconsin does have, again, the Big Ten being what the Big Ten is, having that strange kind of conference schedule where you're starting to play already in December, and then you kind of sprinkle in a couple of non-conference games there. But I think this is a rivalry where it needs to be. I mean, both these fan bases want to win this game because they want to have state superiority and be the best basketball program in Wisconsin.
Gabe, early in the year for Marquette, their bigs have kind of lacked that consistent production, both scoring, rebounding, and honestly defensively too. What have you seen from the three guys that are getting the most playing time down low? That's Royce Parham, Caden Hamilton, and Ben Gold.
Yeah, I guess I look at Ben more than anyone else at this point, Will, just because he's the senior, right? Like, he's the one who's supposed to grow, and he played a really good game. He played really well against Valparaiso, Marquette's last time out, and he finally started shooting the ball a little bit more the way we're accustomed to him shooting. He was down near 31%. He shot 37% from three last year. They need him to be more productive because, well, they just don't have consistency shooting from the outside, and everybody wants to play zone against this team, which is another thing I'm curious to see if Wisconsin does today. Nobody's seeing more zone play than Marquette. Like, teams that don't even typically play zone are like, well, we at least got to try it for a couple of possessions because they haven't come up with a good solution for it. And you got to shoot your way out of zones, and Marquette hasn't shot the ball from downtown nearly well enough. And I look at Ben Gold as somebody that can be that guy. And, he was able to get to the free throw line a couple of times. He was able to grab 7 rebounds against Valpo. Now, going up against a 7-footer today, we're going to have to see more aggressiveness out of those guys. But when it comes to the bigs, I start with Ben Gold. And, hey, this is your senior year. You've got to step up and be one of those leaders along with Chase Ross. Not that you're going to go out there and lead the team in scoring the way Chase is or be the emotional leader, but you look at the Guardians from last year, that special senior class that they had, everybody played their role. I think Ben's still trying to figure out what exactly that role is for him in his senior year.
Gabe, late game situations have been woof so far this year. We are handing you the whiteboard. There's 15 seconds left on the clock today. Marquette's down 1. By the way, I'd sign up for that right now. What are you doing? Who are you giving the ball to?
So the problem with this iteration of Marquette, typically when you get in those late clock situations, no matter who you are, it's kind of high ball screen and let your best player go. And as much as I love Chase Ross, like creating for himself, unless he's going all the way to the rim, it's just not a strength. He's a good enough shooter, and he can knock down some mid-range shots, but he's not somebody that I'm expecting to be able to get himself those shots off the dribble the way we saw at times with Cam Jones or, Tyler Kolek before him, or obviously Marcus Howard, who could get himself open and get himself a number of looks and knock down open shots. I want to see more of an action. I want to see more of a play instead of we're just going to get it into Nigel's hands or we're going to get it into Chase's hands and try to set a ball screen for them. I think you need more action away from the ball and run more of a set than just, hey, we're going to get the ball in this guy's hands, because as we've seen, trying to get it into Nigel's hands, trying to get it into Chase Ross's hands, it just hasn't worked. I mean, twice they haven't gotten a shot off, and the one time that they did in these situations, it was a really bad shot for Chase Ross. He's fading away when you really want him going toward the basket. So I think what they need to do is just run more of a set and move the ball instead of just kind of holding on to it. I would like to see him go a little bit sooner. If you were watching the game against Valpo, and Brian Butch has done, and this might be, sacrilegious with Butch being, the University of Wisconsin guy, and he does their radio broadcast, but he's been really good on some of the ESPN Plus games that they've done, kind of filling in, viewers on just a lot of basketball stuff. He's like, okay, typically at 8, this is where you want to see him go. I would love to see Marquette, if they're in that situation, go at 12. Right? Like, it's just been so hard for them to generate shots. I think you have to throw some of those generic rules that you have in late game situations out the window of, hey, this is what our team is. And I think if they move the ball around, they're still going to be able to come away with a good shot, because they haven't come away with a good shot in a late game situation yet.
All right, Gabe, last one for you here, and then we'll stick with you into the network pregame coverage starting at 12:30 live from Buffalo Wild Wings in Brookfield, the official Marquette watch party. You've had the great fortune of living in both of these fabulous cities in our state, Milwaukee and Madison. We all know about the respective nightlife in each city. Which city is your favorite to have a boozy morning, though, leading into a 1 p.m. tip?
Ooh, a boozy morning. I got to lean towards Milwaukee. We just have so many options. Like it's almost like a competition within Milwaukee in terms of what you're putting in your Bloody Mary. Like, you can, don't get me wrong, you can still go get a good Bloody Mary somewhere in Madison, but like in Milwaukee, it's a competition of how much stuff you can put into the Bloody Mary, right? It's not just your typical little garments or just that beef stick you throw in there. I mean, some of these places are throwing an entire meal on top of the Bloody Mary. You don't get that in Madison. The brunch scene in Milwaukee is vast superior to the one in Madison. I will say that.
On the way out here to the Potawatomi Sportsbook today to do the show, I drove past Sobelman's in the Valley. I'm telling you this. You're not finding anywhere in Madison where you are getting a full fried chicken on top of your Bloody Mary. It just doesn't exist.
You're also getting the chaser sometimes, too, with the little beer.
Sometimes. Absolutely.
Well, most of the time.
If you are not getting the chaser with the Bloody Mary, I can't trust you as an establishment. Like,
that's on you.
Whether it's a short pour out of the tap or you just get like one of those shorty bottles. Like, you got to get a little something in terms of the chaser with the Bloody Mary. Otherwise, you don't know what you're doing, and I can't trust you as an establishment.
I tend to agree. Gabriel, thank you for the time, buddy. We will stick with you on the other side when network pregame begins. Thanks, man.
Go Marquette.
All right, that is Gabe Neitzel live, as Brian mentioned, at the Buffalo Wild Wings in Brookfield if you want to join the official Marquette Athletics watch party. But that does it for us here on this special edition of Marquette College Game Day. Thanks to Will Sommers, Brian D.
Any predictions? We got about a minute left here. We can mess around with some predictions for today's game day. Does anybody have the onions, as Bill Raftery would say, to pick Marquette to win in Madison today?
No.
I'm going to do it.
You're going to do it?
I don't think Wisconsin's as good as people think. And I think Marquette has yet to play a complete game. They are so due for a complete game. I think they win by 14 like last year.
Yeah, in the spirit of...
I'm being dead serious.
I love that. In the spirit of the Potawatomi Sportsbook, and you can't bet on the local teams here, which is fine. I think the spread on this game, though, Will, was what as we started?
11.5.
11.5. I would take Marquette to lose, but I think they'll cover. I think this is a closer game than a lot of people are expecting today, and I think Marquette stays in it right to the end, and hopefully we get an opportunity from this team to get a last-second shot up and maybe see it go down in the Kohl Center today. That'd be a lot of fun.
It's going to take Marquette's defense being ferocious and Wisconsin struggling from three for this game to be close. I also don't think Wisconsin is necessarily a top-tier team in the Big Ten, but I have way more concerns about Marquette's side. I'm going to say Wisconsin wins and Wisconsin covers, but I'm hoping to be wrong. I'm hoping for a great game. Let's have some fun today. If you're in Madison rooting for Marquette, be loud for your Golden Eagles. That wraps it up. Marquette College Game Day. Network coverage next.
National Liquor Mart is packed with deals to get you through the winter. During basketball season, remember to stop by National Liquor for all your Marquette pre- and